Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Shifts and Pucks News Pack for Thursday, March the 3rd. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at Shifts and Pucks, Facebook.com Shifts and Pucks, YouTube.com Shifts and Pucks, Twitch.com Shifts and Pucks, as well as subscribe to wherever you get your audio and on the Area 51 Sports Network. Just a reminder of our contest with the Pig and Duke, where you can win tickets to the uh, game on April 23rd between the Vancouver Canucks and Calgary Flames at the Scotiabank Saddledome, April 23rd. Check out our Word of the Week, which is in our Canucks podcast, which we discussed Monday post game after the New Jersey Devils game, and then Wednesday, where Sean, Devin, and I chatted about the Calgary Flames. So check those words of the week are out there. We do our news packs Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Not Wednesdays because we generally record in the afternoon. Let's get through the news of the day. And there's 9 games in the NHL, and both in the NHL tonight. Both Canucks and the Flames are in action tonight. The Canucks are continuing their road trip against the New York Islanders. Looks like for the Islanders tonight, there will be no Matthew Barzal or no Zdeno Chara. And it looks like Niels Höglander did skate, according to Harman Dial, took his regular line rushes at the morning skate with Pettersson's line. Uh, According to IO, we'll have to wait to speak to Bedroom. I guess Höglander will still be in the lineup tonight as well. So that is that heading into the game. Of course, both of these teams are not in the playoffs. The Canucks, of course, come in with a record of 26, 23, and 6, 58 points, 5 points back of the Dallas Stars, who point percentage wise holds the final playoff spot. The Canucks coming off that 7-2 loss against the New Jersey Devils. The Islanders come in with a record of 20, 22, and 8 with 48 points, 17 behind the Washington Capitals, who have lost 3 in a row. So that is what is going on there. And then, of course, the Calgary Flames host the Montreal Canadiens tonight. The Canadiens have turned things around, certainly under the coaching of Martin St. Louis. That looks like they're getting the benefit of the coach bump. Montreal did lose their last game, but they're 5-5. They're 13, 34, and 7 overall with 33 points. In last place in the Eastern Conference. Of course, the Flames are in first place with 70 points in the Pacific Division. 32, 14, and 6. They've swept the Minnesota Wild the last 2 games after that loss to the Vancouver Canucks. For the Canadiens, looks like it's Andrew Hammond tonight. Pezzetta is in, Perreault is out. It looks like Jacob Markstrom is in goal tonight for the Calgary Flames. Daryl Sutter was asked today about Dan Vladar, if he was when Vladar was going to play. Sutter said Vladar has not played for a while. So that's one of the reasons. So we may not be seeing. So, of course, we've had a lot of discussion here all over Flames market when Vladar is going to play, but it may not be. It's certainly not tonight. It looks like they are going with Jacob Markstrom there as well. So those are those 2 games in terms of the preview of there. In terms of the other games going on today, the Pittsburgh Penguins take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. That should be a very good game. That should probably one of the games of the night anyway. The Penguins, 74 points, have won 2 in a row, 33, 14, and 8, taking on Tampa Bay, who is now sitting officially first place, by the way, in the Atlantic Division with a record of 35, 11, and 6. They've won 5 in a row. So they looks like they're rolling right along there. The Ottawa Senators are taking on the Florida Panthers. The Panthers, of course, are sitting in second place, but they've lost 3 in a row, so the Panthers looking to lose in that streak. The Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Washington Capitals. The Hurricanes are at 79 points, first place in the Metropolitan Division. The Washington Capitals have lost 3 in a row, and they are at 65 points. And interestingly enough, a lot of questions about what they're going to do as a trade deadline is coming up on March 21st. Looks like they're not going all in. So looks like that is likely what is going to happen there. As the general manager of the said that they're not. Brian McCullough says, my mindset would be we're not as aggressive as we normally are. I think that it really has to make sense. At the beginning of the year, I would say we were a legit contender. There's probably 3-4 teams that are at that next level, but we're not next level. So it's going to be so the Capitals not considering themselves at that level this year. I think that that's a fairly significant thing to look at there. As we go back to some of the other games going on in the National Hockey League, we've also got the continuing on. Sorry about that. We've got the Minnesota Wild taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. The Wild coming off that 2-game sweep against the Calgary Flames, looking to get them back in action. They've lost 4 in a row. The Flyers, they've are at 42 points. Of course, questions about what they're going to do at the trade deadline as well, as especially around Claude Giroux. The Edmonton Oilers are in Chicago to take on the Blackhawks. This is Duncan Keith's return to Chicago. Of course, Chicago brought in Kyle Davidson as they officially announced Kyle Davidson. They removed the interim tag, put on the, gave him the general manager role. The Oilers are tied with Dallas with 63 points, 7-3 under Jay Woodcroft. And there, and the Blackhawks, of course, are playing for next year with 46 points. And then our final games as we go through this are we have, of course, Boston taking on Vegas. Boston's been rolling. That's one of the reasons Washington is in the second wild card position is the performance of the Boston Bruins on this West Coast trip, California, Western United States road trip. Lost to Anaheim, but it's 1-6 of the last 10 and are sitting at 68 points in the first wild card position. Vegas sitting at 64 points, 1 point behind LA for second in the Pacific, sitting in third. And that is, those are the games for tonight. Patrick Kane, subject of possible trade target name that's coming up at trade deadline. He says he wants to finish his career with the Chicago Blackhawks. He's the third leading scorer in their history. He says finishing career in Chicago would be a privilege. He says, I love Chicago. I love the city. I love the fans, the organization. It's been amazing to me and my family. So Patrick Kane saying he wants to stay with the Blackhawks. In terms of any other injury news here that we may have caught up on, looks like Jonathan Tayze and Tyler Johnson will play for the Blackhawks tonight against the Oilers. Coach Derek King said each will have limited ice time. Johnson, of course, practiced on a line with Alex DeBrincat. Johnson had the Jack Eichel surgery, very similar injury. Tayze was in concussion protocol since January 26th, and he had an assist in that game, but he is expected to play tonight. Josh Norris will return to lineup when the Senators take on the Florida Panthers tonight, and Anthony Mantha could be back, first time since having surgery on his left shoulder. He hasn't played since November the 4th. Justin Schultz will also play. Kevin Rooney, week to week with the Rangers with an upper body injury. And Kaapo Kakko out a few more weeks. Kakko hasn't played since January 21st. Nikolai Ehlers is expected to return to the Jets when they host the Stars on Friday. Much needed return for the Jets. He took practice in a normal jersey today. He hasn't played since January 18th. So those are some of the significant injury news going on there. And then touching on this is also today is college free agents are able to sign, and that is something to watch out for. We'll talk about the overagers in a second here. We talked about that a couple of days ago, but college free agent season begins. So some of the names that we could see here on that list in this year has come out. So get the names there. Here, Frank Zaravalli tweeted that out, by the way. Give me a quick moment here as we pull that up again. Yeah, just it's by the way, a former Vancouver Canadian was also signed, and there's a couple of good articles out by Adam Kurzavac on the Hockey Writers about some other college free agents that could be, or any overagers that could be good targets for some teams to look at, including Bailey Peach, who's one there that to watch, including he also mentioned the Kelowna Rockets captain Tyson Feist, Tyson Feist, as well. And so some of the names to look out for, just wanted to make sure we get that list. Ben Myers from Minnesota is on the top of the list here, according to Daily Faceoff. He's a guy to watch as well out there. And as well, Bobby Trevino from UMass, Jake Livingston, defenseman from Minnesota State, is another name. Brandon Scanlon from Omaha, and Mark McLaughlin from Boston College. Those are 5 of those college names to look out for. As far as the CH, a couple of other things today. Sad news for a prospect. A lot of people had to go number 2. Maybe some even had number 1. Has been announced today that he's been diagnosed with non-Hodgkins lymphoma, a similar to what Mario Lemieux and Phil Kessel had. And that is his name is Ivan Miroshnichenko. It's considered the number 2 prospect, sadly diagnosed with that non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So we wish the best for him. As far as the CHL rankings go, today or this week, they come out on Wednesday. But of course, we do our podcast with Flames Talk on Wednesday. And so let's have a quick look at that as the Week 18. It is the Edmonton Oil Kings continuing to hold number 1, Everett Silvertips number 2, Winnipeg Ice number 3, Hamilton Bulldogs number 4, Charlottetown Islanders number 5, the Portland Winterhawks number 6, Shawinigan Cats number 7, Kamloops Blazers number 8, Quebec Remparts number 9, Kingston Frontenacs number 10. So 4 more teams that continue to be from the Western Hockey League continue to hold that top 10 spot. And that is the news for today. Of course, again, follow us individually on Twitter. Sean Beardy Canucks03 on Twitter. Tyler TNOBLE. Chris Schneid's SCHNEIDZ. Devin Gordhowe09. Give him a follow. He hit that follow button for him for sure. I am KEVOLE. Facebook, of course, Twitter for us, Shifts and Pucks. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch as well. Area 51, give them a follow. and subscribe wherever you get your audio. Thanks everyone for watching and listening for today's news. And for March 3rd, we'll talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.